Inside Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again for your Avengers of YouTube chat as we preview the Buffalo Bills versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I have solicited the services of these three fine gentlemen, and I'll just go around real quick so you guys already know who they are, but I might as well introduce them because that's what any good host does. I got Smoking Joe Sharp from Believers Talk coming in. Joe,
how you doing?
How are you doing? And just quickly, what do you got going on Believers Talk that you want to just tell the people?
Well, I mean, pretty much. Well, first of all, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys again. And the regular season for Believers Talk is pretty much set in stone. Minus breaking news, of course, we're bringing that. But let's see. Today we just came out with our predictions for the week ahead. Every single game we do against the spread and straight up. So if you like those Vegas bets, make sure you do that. So I'm going to fix my camera here a little bit.
You got it.
But other than that, then you got the every Thursday we go live halftime of Thursday Night Football to pregame the game, which we're going to do here as well. And then Mondays I do my three good, three bad. I find good and bad of every single game, and we break it down. Of course, Sundays live streaming, live play-by-play interaction to every single Buffalo Bills game. So that's the regular season schedule, guys. So join me on Believers Talk.
Nice. I love it. And as we go around the table, a man who's not legally able to drink but has a number of illegal parking tickets. I swear to God, this guy has more tickets than a mother of six at a carnival. Clayton Garrett from the Cold Front Report. Clayton, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Those speeding infractions are adding up, but I'm doing all right. It's Monday to Friday. It's what everybody deals with. But in all seriousness, it's all fun and game. Well, it's anything but fun and games. It's all business over at the Cold Front Report. Jeff Uvino and I just had our second edition of the Overtime Podcast going live. You can find that every Tuesday at 8 p.m. as we'll recap the week's previous game and then preview the week's upcoming game. And then Jeremy Turner Montgomery goes live with Lorenzo Alexander every Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. One hell of a show. The best insight that you're going to find anywhere. And, of course, all the engaging content you can find across all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You name it, we'll find you there. We'll find some sort of engaging content for you guys to engage with. Hey, that's what we do, and it's a pleasure to be back on this show. It was a hell of a time 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure we have a lot of fun in store for tonight as well.
Oh, we will. There'll be a lot of chaos and mayhem for tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Dan the Man Mitchell, the president of Bumble. Dan, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Excuse me, bro. Thank God I have my headphones in. Let's be real. All right, yo, what's up, guys? Really looking forward to the show today, and thank you for asking. I am doing fantastic. As far as what to expect on the Dom Mafia Report, I have the AFC East Roundtable at about 9:20 this evening. You can see me just argue and talk shit to a bunch of Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets fans. So if that's your cup of tea, join. And then the rest of my schedule, y'all should know already. Like, my days are legitimately fucking blending in at this point. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. I'm just filming nonsense and I'm uploading. That's it.
That's awesome. And as far as hashtag goes, ladies and gentlemen, Paul has a very special treat for you guys. I don't know when it's going to be released, but it's going to be coming up in the next few days, hopefully. Obviously, the table bet is still on. If those of you that don't know, we received a number of likes on our last live feed for a post game, and therefore I will have to be inoculated into the Bills Mafia by going through a table put there by Paul. So if you guys know the physics of between me and Paul, you're going to see it's actually going to be kind of humorous. That being said, everything else that we have going on over at Hashtag, we are going to have a post game for you on Sunday. But other than that, I am thrilled that these gentlemen decided to join us tonight. We're going to break down a little bit of the Ram game. We're going to talk a little bit about the Raiders, injuries and whatnot, and then we're going to dive into our bold predictions and predictions for the game against the Raiders, where the Bills will be going out to Vegas. Vegas, baby, Vegas. So, let's just kick it off right away. What Dan brought up a very great point. It's been talked about all week in the Rams game. Penalty or no penalty on the last drive by the Buffalo Bills. I want to know your take. I'll go around the horn with you, Clayton, and then Joe. What was your take on the play, and what was it or was it not?
Personally, Jan, do you want to go first?
Oh yeah, I was
And
gonna have Dan go first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Clayton. I'm sorry.
And so look at my dude Clayton, dude. He's ready to
Young
talk
kid,
about this
trying
right
to
now,
get out
baby.
there.
He's ready to talk about this, man. And so, all right, first off, I do want to preface this by saying that if you were a Rams fan and you were upset right about that botched pass interference call, it's fucking karma, baby, from how you guys made it to the damn Super Bowl 2 years ago. All right. So you have no right to talk shit about that. Second off, I don't think so. And so I honestly think that we got a gift. I wonder whether or not that ref was just, sort of feeling guilty right about that bullshit of the interception that he called on us during the third quarter. But was talking to a couple of my friends and they were saying, like, listen, if that wasn't pass interference, then that was at least illegal contact or some type of defensive hold. It was something went wrong there where it may have not been 1st and goal, but we would have had a fresh set of downs, whether or not that was 1st and 5. So, I mean, that's why that, like, was it a pass interference? At the end of the day, I don't know. But, I mean, I'm definitely fucking glad it happened. Trust me. Because the second that I saw Josh Allen sail that over Gabe Davis's head, I was just like, fuck, we suck again, bro. But it doesn't matter. We came back. We're 3-0, and we're riding it, baby. As Mario told me, good teams get calls. That's where we're at, baby.
Clay, what do you got, buddy?
Honestly, watching the game in the midst of just live, I didn't think there was a flag. I didn't really look at it too deeply. I just thought, like Dan said, Josh Allen sailed the football through the back corner of the end zone, and it was a dead play, and that was the game. But after the replay, and I watched what had really happened, and you see the corner just fully has a whole handful of Gabe Davis's opposite shoulder, so he can't make that play. And you look at it more thoroughly, and you kind of think about it. That's a touchdown if he doesn't hold his shoulder. That's a touchdown. Is that not that's practically the definition of a pass interference? And I feel like that's why they call pass interference and not illegal contact or holding or what have you. I feel like it was far more so a pass interference call than any of those other penalties, simply because that would have been a touchdown and the game would have been over at that instant as Gabe Davis catches that touchdown pass. And that's really what the defender did. He infringed on the receiver's ability to catch the pass, and that's by definition pass interference. So I thought it was an applicable call. I thought the interception call was bullshit, but Josh Allen shouldn't have never thrown that pass, so that should have never even happened in the first place. And I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but is it a bullshit call? Yeah. Was it an awful throw? Oh, yeah, definitely. That should not have been thrown. It was a very arrogant pass, but by all means, that was a pass interference at the end of the game.
So I
Joe, what are you doing in the chat real quick? What are you doing in the chat, Joe?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Half the chat says I'm homeless because of my new Grizzly Adams look, so I'm gonna go with that again.
Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
He did have a beard. All right,
so I actually go at from a different angle. Whether it's PI or not PI, I take a look at all officiating the same way, and I'll equate it to baseball. When an umpire calls something a strike that's not a strike, I don't care as long as he's consistent all game. So you watch that official, you watch that sideline all game. You ask yourself, was he consistent? And there are very little times that I could see on film on that side of the field where there was press coverage where the guys did not release after 5 yards. So, as a fellow official in high school football, my rule of thumb is call the game the same way in the first quarter it would the fourth quarter. So was it a penalty by definition? Absolutely. Will he call that in the future? That to me is the difference. Like, is that a consistent call that official in particular makes? If so, then I'm okay with the call. If it's something that he passes on time and time again, and for some reason at this point he felt like he needed to be on the headlines, because believe me, guys, I'm pretty positive that official did not go into that game saying, "Oh, gee, I hope I can make the paper today." He did not want to make the paper. Okay, that's not our job or his job. So yeah, I don't know if I agree or disagree with the call. I want to see how he officiates games from here on out and see if he calls that down the line. If so, then I am 100% okay with that call. If not, then we have to take a look at that. That's the issue.
Spoken like a true official. And if those of you that don't know, Joe is an official. He's an official of football games. The thing that I get about it, and I told Dan this before the broadcast, before we went on the air, I don't call that in that part of the game. there's certain calls that you don't make at certain parts of the game. And I can echo everything that the three gentlemen right before me spoke said. By definition, you could have called it. By definition, you could have this. The thing about it, and I agree more with Joe, is that they were consistently bad the entire game. Yeah. So it was good to see that consistency carried on through the end of it. I mean, you could take both sides and say, okay, was it pass interference? Was it was it defensive holding? Was it any other kind of play like that? But in my estimation, if I was a ref in that scenario, I don't call that. I just don't call it. I mean, I just thought it was a poor play. I mean, we'll probably get into more Brian Dable ish stuff if I want to rile Clayton up, but that's a story for another day. But like I said, before I get to the next topic, I wanted to tell you guys that in the description of this video, you could find all the channels of these fine gentlemen. You can find the Cold Front Report, Believers Talk, and the Don Mafia Report with Dan Mitchell. You can find all of that down in the description. And just real quick, I forgot to do it at the onset. I do apologize. My esteemed colleague Paul is not here because he is celebrating his birthday today. Yes. So all of you that reached out on the community tab and did wish Paul a happy birthday, I want to thank you guys for that. That was awesome. But I think the biggest point about what was supposed to happen is that the Bills should never have been in that scenario. Right. They should never have been in that scenario. And I'm going to go back around the opposite way now. I'm going to start with Joe, Clayton, and then Dan and clean it up. What, in your estimation, was what was the difference between the first half and the second half that you noticed with the Buffalo Bills, and what was going on in that game against the Rams?
I forget if it was Jordan Poyer or Mike Hyde. And it goes both ways, right? Rams fans who get upset about the call, listen, you shouldn't have given up 28 points and a 28-3 lead, in the beginning of the third quarter. Like, that's your fault, or the Rams' fault. But I believe it was Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer, I forget which one you said. They felt a difference in trying to get momentum back after that interception. Listen, that interception was what it was. We all know what it was. But at the same time, the defense still gave up 29 unanswered points. That's something the defense needs to stop. So the biggest difference to me was they had a hard time getting back up, right? That defense was elevated. That defense was excited. I still remember when Matt Milano got the sack to drive them basically at field goal range on the Rams' first drive when they missed that field goal. You saw them get pumped up, excited. Their body language was completely different after that interception, both on offense and defense. And it could have been when they gave up the first touchdown too. I'm not sure because it was one right after the other. But that body language changed, and that's something that the Bills need to do a better job at. They need to coach, and we've seen it before in the third quarter. What do? We suck. So we need to do a better job at just coaching these guys up, getting them into the third quarter. And when something doesn't go the Bills' way, they need to say, put it in past, forget about it, and move on, and still get amped, still get pumped up, still be ready for every single play.
Clayton?
See, I kind of share the same sentiments, but almost in a different way. Really, because you talk about going into this game. Okay, the first 38 minutes of the game, the Bills were up 28-3. The first 2.5 quarters of football, the Bills, they were up 25 points. 25 points through 38 minutes. That defense handled Sean McVay's offense with ease in the first half, it appeared as. After that Matt Milano sack, it felt like they really handled them with ease. And then the Bills simply got beat how it feels like they continuously get beat, whether it's on offense or now the defensive side of the ball, because both sides had lack of adjustments. Both sides did. And you were playing against one of the best offensive minds in football, and you're damn sure he made some offensive adjustments. And right after that failed fourth down conversion near midfield that led to the Bills going up 28-3, what Sean McVay had a decision at that point, I felt. There were two ways that he was going to go with that football game. He could continue to make stupid rookie decisions like he did to go for that fourth down near midfield that led to the Bills going up by 25, or he could settle back into what he's comfortable with doing. He could settle back into his team's game plan, what they chose to adjust at halftime, and try and come back from that deficit. And that's what they did. And I feel like on the opposite side, not even the opposite side of the ball, but the opposite side of the field with the Bills offense, you saw the exact opposite thing happen, as you touched on, Joe, with the interception, with the quote-unquote interception. Does momentum play a part in a football game? I'd be stupid to say it doesn't, because playing football, watching football, coaching football, you feel the momentum. You 110% feel the momentum. But one play where you just gave them the ball a play early, because after that, they're punting the ball. And it was a shitty throw. It was a shitty call, but it was the Rams' ball a play early regardless, and they had a short field regardless. That doesn't lead to 25-point 25 points just disintegrating. Your lead just literally melting away, just gone. All of a sudden because of one play. That's not the kind of resiliency that a championship caliber football team should have. And you can't excuse your lack of execution in the second half on that one football play. And I felt like the Bills 110% got out coached in that half. And if it weren't for that last second drive, I feel like we're having a lot more different conversations about Brian Daboll, specifically Brian Daboll, maybe Leslie Frazier. But I'll be honest with you, I have far more confidence in this defense being able to adapt and evolve and overcome their problems that they have suffered through the first 2 of the first 3 games this season than I do this Bills offense that's existed for 3 games. I'm far more comfortable with the defense having some of their specific problems than I am with the offense continuously having the same problems that they tended to have last season. And Brian Daboll, quite frankly, has had throughout his entire coaching career, regardless of where he's coached.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you got?
And so it's insane, man. Honestly, like that defense thoroughly pissed me off on Sunday. It was funny because I actually streamed my entire reaction while I watched the game. And most people can agree that I was celebratory drinking, like by the time the second quarter was happening, just like pounding Labatt's, doing my thing. But then the second half, that transitioned to stress drinking. I was absolutely pissed because the Bills couldn't stop Sean McVay's offense to save their fucking life. Now, maybe it had to do with the fact that the offense sort of lost a little bit of steam going into the second half per usual, and they weren't really being able to instill those long drives, and the defense was essentially gassed. But I think it goes deeper than that, right? I mean, you really compare the performances that we saw in week 2 against the Dolphins and then obviously right against the Rams on week 3. There's an underlying issue with this defense right now. Like the gap integrity is terrible. The tackling, oh my God, don't even get me fucking started on that. It's really interesting, right? I'm not sure whether or not that this is the fact that we have a bunch of new pieces in our defensive line right now, and we're not causing enough pressure in order to make our secondary as effective as it has been in the past, or there's a question of creativity by Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott, and most NFL offensive coordinators are figuring it out and exposing it. So, I mean, that's honestly where I stand at this point. I'm super happy that we ended up winning the game. I have said this time in and time again. Say that the Bills are down by less than 6 in the fourth quarter and we have one last possession, I'm getting to a point where I know that we're winning that game. I know we're winning that game. That is a stark
the
confidence
difference.
Josh Allen has given me. Exactly. That's the confidence that Josh Allen has given me.
Well, he's got 10 since 2018. I think that stat came out today that said, I might have read it on the Cold Front Report, actually. I think that's what
Yes, you did. Second most since 2018.
Second most. Thank you for that, Clayton, by the way. And, I mean, speaking of the Cold Front Report that I said on the Saturday night tailgate over on the Cold Front Report, which is, hashtag Nation, you guys got to get on there. You got to get over to the Cold Front Report. We're there every Saturday. But the other thing is this. I knew that playing the Jets and playing the Dolphins and playing the Rams, it was going to be a completely different animal because you're talking about a team and a quarterback and a coach that has coached a team to a Super Bowl. They have had playoff wins, albeit the Saints one is questionable, as Dan mentioned at the onset. But they have gone to a Super Bowl, so they have somewhat of a championship mindset of how to get there. They're not just going to roll over and die on you. And to me, that was going to be one of the defining points of, okay, they've been in games where they've had to make adjustments and they've had to come back and they've had to do certain things. I understand that. That was the one point for me. The second point was, if you think about, you guys know the story about the boiling frog, right? You guys are familiar with that story?
I'm young, so enlighten me.
If you drop a frog in boiling water, he's going to hop right out. But if you put him in warm water and you heat it up gradually, he's still going to stay in there. So to me, the running game of the Rams was like the story of the boiling frog. It was just like little by little. And someone even said it in the chat. I think Chris even said it in the chat. It was wearing the Buffalo Bills down, and that defense was getting gassed. And they were staying on the field too much, and they were susceptible to misdirection. And you started to see the aggressiveness of this defense being taken advantage of by Sean McVay, who uses the most motion out of anybody in the NFL. So if you think the Bills are going to get caught like this in another game, it's only because the offensive coordinator of that team saw how well it worked and they're going to try to do it. But they have to get that run game off of the ground first. That's the thing that was so poignant about McVay, which is why he's such a good play caller, is that he still stayed committed to the run even when they were down 14, even when they were down 21, even when they were down 25. He stayed committed to it to keep Buffalo honest, because you know that if you have a choice to run or pass on the Bills, you're much more successful keeping the ball on the ground and throwing because of those maniacs in the secondary. And the other thing is this, with Daniel Garvey's, Marty must have had a disturbing childhood. Let's not bring that up now, Daniel. But the point is that moving forward, you start to see, okay, the injuries, coming back from injuries, Edmonds and Milano being just a tad bit, in my estimation, a tad bit rusty. You know, they weren't getting the sideline to sideline that well. And then you started to see some injuries pile up on the defense. You know, Hyde went out for a few plays. A couple other guys went down. It was tough because you had to try to readjust in a scenario where you're good. The offense and defense is good when everybody's clicking, everybody's on the field. But when there's certain guys that have to get substituted in, you start to see a little breaks in the armor. So hopefully the Buffalo Bills can take, I mean, ever since last year and this year, I think it's been a learning experience for them on how to adjust. How do we play? How do the Buffalo Bills play when you don't have Edmonds and Milano in the lineup? How do you play in the back end when you don't have Hyde there for a couple of plays? How do you play when you don't have Poyer? You know, all those little things combined add up to, okay, you're building a championship team with experience in that respect. So I think, was this game ideal for the Buffalo Bills? No. Did they show that they can come back after losing a lead? Yes. Albeit a little bit of help, as we mentioned at the onset. But everything intertwined, they still won. They still won the game. You know, a game that you thought that the Buffalo Bills normally would lose and would fall, they won. So I like to think it was the athletes that you had on the field out-trumped the coaching, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. You guys can get mad at that. Hashtag Nation can fire at me. That's fine. But I thought the athleticism of the players on the field out-trumped the coaching in this game. So, I got to take a breath now. What the heck?
Breathe.
I can't do that.
Man.
So that being said, the Buffalo Bills put the Rams behind them. They're 3-0. Everybody's excited in Buffalo. They're traveling out to Vegas. They're playing a team who is 2-1, but has been outscored by I think 2 points in a total of 3 games. They're a team that defensively, not very. They're giving up 30 points a game defensively. So you think that the Buffalo Bills will be able to move the ball. I want to start with Clayton. I'll go to Joe and then clean it up with Dan. Clayton, what is the number one thing that you see that the Buffalo Bills have to do in this game, either offensively or defensively, to not really correct the mistakes of the Rams game, but to stay on course to go 4-0?
I think the biggest key, it definitely fall in line with the Bills defense. That's the one thing that I need to see the most from this week is the Bills run defense going up against a running back like Josh Jacobs and going up against an offensive line such as the one that's possessed by the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to attack that offensive line, because they're supposed to get what was the former highest paid right tackle in football, Trent Brown, back this week, who missed the last 2 games against the Saints and the Patriots with I'm sorry, his injury is slipping my mind, but he's supposed to come back this week. So they have their whole right side, so that they're going to have Rodney Hudson at center, they're going to have Gabe Jackson at right guard, and they're going to have Trent Brown at right tackle. So that's a lot. That's a lot of elite football players right there for an offensive line. However, on the left side, that's really where things kind of get more murky and where I see a little more opportunity for the Bills defensive line to have to make some plays. You're talking about Colton Miller, who's really kind of had a murky career thus far. And then offensive guard John Simpson out of Clemson. He's just a rookie. This depth along the offensive line for the Raiders has been tested early this season. And it's going to be interesting to see what Leslie Frazier, if he chooses to have a more aggressive approach going up against Josh Jacobs, because if you're asking me, I think Jared Goff and Derek Carr are fairly similar in their skill sets as to what they do when they're being optimized as quarterback, when they're being put in the best opportunities to succeed. And that's specifically off of play action, when you're using your run game to really kind of dictate the flow of the game and mixing in some passing plays there. But he's going to be missing rookie wide receiver Henry Ruggs. He's going to have Zay Jones. But Brian Edwards is listed as questionable. Hunter Renfrow is in there. And we can't forget about Darren Waller. I think the biggest key to this game is maintaining Josh Jacobs. Because if you don't let that running game get going and you force Derek Carr to throw the ball into the secondary and at those linebackers, I think you're putting the defense into far more opportunities to succeed unless they were to just run the ball all over you like the Rams did last week. You can't let that happen. You can't get beat at the point of attack again this week, or you're going to be leaving the West Coast with your first loss of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna kind of go on what Clayton said, but I'm gonna go to a specific stat, and that's time of possession. I know that our offense could probably score on this defense all day, but we need to be able to control time possession. I was watching the Monday Night Football game, and if I was watching, you'll know this, and I tweeted about this. So the Chiefs went up 20-3, and the Ravens, or the Chiefs kicked off the Ravens. Ravens returned it for a touchdown, and I thought, it's good they scored a touchdown, but that Ravens defense is not happy right now because they had to go right back out on that field and face Patrick Mahomes again. And what did they do? They got another touchdown. I mean, so yeah, there's going to be opportunities to score. And yeah, listen, this is the NFL. You take every opportunity you can to score. I'm not saying the guy who returned the punch or kickoff shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, control time possession. We lost time possession against the Rams, and as Mario alluded to, our defense got gassed, and you saw it in gap integrity, which Dan alluded to earlier as well. So I think that time possession is going to be huge in this game, as it is in most games. But we need to be able to. I mean, Singletary ran the ball 13 times last week. I get it. Our passing game's awesome. I love it too. But let's run the ball a little bit.
Run the damn ball.
I didn't want to say it. I wanted to give it to you.
I heard that before. I don't know.
That is right. And so this is definitely very interesting. As far as the key is concerned, we need to contain Josh Jacobs. And I'm sure that I'm echoing with Clayton and Joe, and I'm sure what Mario's about to say as well. But that is legitimately going to be the key. And I mean, as much as I want to sit here and tell you guys that I think the Bills are about to absolutely manhandle the Raiders and win by a shit ton of points, despite the fact that I'll probably drop a video saying that I think the Bills are going to manhandle the Raiders tomorrow. I think it's going to be yet another cardiac performance. I think that this is going to be a lot more high scoring than a lot of people anticipate. And a lot of it has to do with what Clayton just said, that their offensive line is pretty damn good. And with that, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for Josh Jacobs. And we all know that the Bills have struggled tremendously stopping the run so far this year. We really need to figure things out. I'm hoping that our defensive line is finally able to gel. Of course, we have new pieces, but at the end of the day, we really didn't even have a preseason either. I'm hoping that they figure their shit out and we start pressuring the shit out of Derek Carr, and for God's sakes, make sure that he doesn't establish play action going into it. I do see the Bills winning this game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout as a lot of us think that it's going to be.
I circled back around this, and I talked to Clayton a little bit yesterday about this. You're talking about, if I want to think about the offense in general of Vegas, you're talking about John Gruden, who grew up basically in the West Coast system, and that's what he primarily runs. If you were to take a look at, now just a couple of numbers to throw at you guys, I found very interesting. Josh Jacobs, he's in the 3 games, he played 78% of the offensive snaps, 66. Last week he played 59. And I knew they were down by some points, but you take that into consideration. He only played, like I said, 59% of the snaps last week. You take into consideration the fact that Derek Carr is completing 74% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, no picks. He hasn't thrown a pick yet. And a lot of the intricacies of the West Coast system are built on, okay, you're using those little short passes that you have here and there are an extension of the run game. So even though the Raiders may not be running the ball per se, those little dink and dunk passes that he throws are essentially extensions of run plays. So that could wear down the Buffalo Bills defense as well in that respect. And you got a quarterback who's taking care of the ball. They're 2-1. They have put up a lot of points. I think they're what are they, 8th? Let me see. Let me just check it real quick. I think that they are they're 8th in the league in scoring, but they're 25th in points against. But that being said, the only guy who plays just as much consistently as Derek Carr in that offense is Darren Waller, who's the tight end. He played 89, 93, and 95% of the snaps. You look at the offensive production of all the other guys. Brian Edwards played 41%. Renfro played 66%. Nelson Aguilar played 85% of the snaps last game.
What?
So, yes. So all of that stuff intertwined when you take a look at it, it's okay, West Coast team. It's going to be I think this game is going to look very, very similar to the Miami game in the respect of the offenses that you're going to see, but you have a much more, I think you have a much more talented tight end and a much more talented quarterback who can get the ball to the outside better than Fitzpatrick could. But then you include Milano and Edmonds now because they weren't in the Miami game. So all of that intertwined, I think you're going to have a very interesting game. I agree with Dan. It's not going to be a blowout. This may be a 42-35 game. If the things don't get fixed on the Buffalo Bills defense and the Buffalo Bills offense starts to click the way they click early on in the game, this could be a very high scoring game because you got a defense that's injured and gassed in Buffalo, and you got a defense that doesn't seem like it can stop anybody in Vegas. So what is really going to happen? Is it going to get too out of control where that dink and dunk offense, like last week against the Patriots, that offense couldn't work and score points really fast? You know, I was watching the game film of the Raiders the first 3 games, and I'm like, none of them are big plays. None of them are huge shots. So it's not like they could make up points like Kansas City could in a very short period of time. So, you know, I just think I just got a weird feeling about Vegas, man. Every time somebody from Buffalo goes to Vegas, nothing ever turns out right. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm just saying we gotta hold off a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, it is the first time that this coaching staff is taking a team to the West Coast since the Peterman game. Let's not forget that.
The Peterman game.
This is the first time that Sean McDermott has marched his troops out to the West Coast since they took him to L.A. to get Peterman slaughtered by Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa.
Ironically enough, the backup in Vegas is
third string.
He's
third
third.
string.
He's third. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way.
Is Mariota hurt?
Come on, guys.
Is Mariota hurt?
I think he is hurt. I think Mariota.
Oh, then it may be a second string.
Backup. Yo, wouldn't that be sweet justice for Peterman to play the majority of that game?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Dan, don't even. That name. Every time I hear that name, it's.
I know.
I
mean, I hope the defense would be good against Peterman. They do know his tendencies.
All right, so now I want to get to something. We got a hot take. We'll see Nate Peterman in the second half. Apex comes in on the chat. I want to get your guys. I'm going to go around the horn. I'm going to go with Joe. I'm going to Joe, Dan, and Clayton at this time. I want to get one thing that you guaranteed will see on Sunday. Don't make it too obvious, Joe. I mean, I know you like to be funny with this, but one thing you'll guarantee you will see out of either team, and one bold prediction that you'll see.
Well, first of all, if Nathan Peterman's in the game, the Bills better put 11 in the box. Just put all 11 in the box. Just put 11 in the box and say, hey, whatever, good luck. One thing that we'll definitely see on Sunday is, and we've seen this twice now, so at the beginning of the season, me saying this would have been easy and simple. But we've seen this twice already this season. So Tre'Davious White will not give up a touchdown. We saw it last week, and we saw it week 2 against the Dolphins too. So Trey White will play back to his all-pro level, maybe even get an interception in this game. But he will not allow a touchdown. He will shut down whoever he's covering, even if it is their tight end Renfro.
All right. What's your bold? What's a bold prediction, Joe?
A bold prediction for me. My bold prediction will also cover who I think is going to win this game. I'm going to pull a Dan here. This game's not going to be close. Let's say my bold prediction is this defense gets 6 sacks on Derek Carr.
Ooh, I love it. I love hearing that. Ooh, you've been hanging around with Dan too much, I think. You've been drinking out of that same gallon of water that he's been drinking. All right,
absolutely.
Dan, what do you got? You have to.
Right.
What is one thing that the Bills fans will absolutely see this weekend, and what's a bold prediction that you have?
All right, so one thing the Bills are absolutely going to see is Josh Allen is about to throw for his 4th consecutive game over 300 yards. Clayton's face just says that I just took his. I'm sorry. Sounds like you have a couple of minutes to think about it. And so, honestly, man, throughout the past couple of weeks, I have made predictions that the Buffalo Bills were about to go back to run the damn ball. But honestly, I'm just going to stop saying that because it's clear that Brian Daboll thinks that this offense's identity is an air attack. And, I mean, personally, I'm fucking fine with it. I think we're going to stick with that. And that's exactly why I think Josh Allen is going to, once again, throw for over 300, perhaps even over 400 again, to be honest with you. I am not scared of the Raiders' defense whatsoever. Bold prediction. Cole Beasley is once again the leading receiver.
Ooh.
Of this team.
Ooh, piece of candy. I like it. I like it. Clayton, here we go. This is going to be good.
Well, the one thing you're definitely going to see, I feel like, is you're going to see Stephon Diggs double his receiving touchdown total so far this season. 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Even though we didn't see the first one, it still counts. So he's going to have 2 touchdowns in this game. He's going to be covered by either Damon Arnett or from Ohio State, the first-round pick, who it sounds like he's going to be out as well. He's injured as well. He hurt his thumb against the Patriots last week. So I kind of feel like Trayvon Mullen, the former first-round pick from Clemson, is going to be on Stephon Diggs, and that is a mismatch.
Yeah.
That is a mismatch. You're going to see at least 2 touchdowns from Stephon Diggs this week. In a bold prediction, I say the Raiders go into halftime without scoring a touchdown.
Ooh.
Only field goals at halftime for the Raiders. I share the sentiment with Joe that I feel like this is going to be a blowout. I've had that feeling most of the week. I said that last night on the show, and I always have to stay consistent. So yeah, I don't think they score a touchdown going into half, and they get a lot of second half scrap points and scrap yards.
Oh boy, this is something. This is gonna be something. I think something that you're guaranteed to see Sunday when when Las Vegas plays the Buffalo Bills. I think you're guaranteed to see a shootout. I really think you're guaranteed to see a shootout between these 2 teams, depending on what happens. I just don't think that this defense is. And I could be wrong. It has happened quite a bit on this. Ask anyone that's in the chat right now. It has happened. I just think it's going to be a shootout between these 2 teams. The defenses, we know what Vegas is made of, but you're talking about a defensive coordinator in Paul Guenther, I think his name is, who hasn't had a defense since 2015 rank in the top 50. Like he's like 20th or 17th. This is his best.
So he's the Brian Dable of defenses.
Oh, and there it is.
Whoa!
And there it is. There it is. But ladies and gentlemen, so I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a shootout. My bold prediction is twofold. One, you're going to see both Derek Carr and Josh Allen throw 4 touchdowns apiece in this game. But Derek Carr is going to add 2 picks to that. He's going to throw his 2 first picks of the year, even though he's been very, very consistent, 74% completion percentage. He has taken care of the ball real well. I think this defense is going to step in front of one, the second of which is going to clinch the game for the Buffalo Bills, because I don't think right now, in my opinion, that neither of these defenses are going to stop either offense. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. I'm talking 42-35. I'm talking 49-42. This is going to be a classic offensive shootout in Vegas. And you know what? Tombstone, I know it's in Arizona, but Buffalo is going to have the gunslinger at the end of the game that's going to take care of it for him. So that being said, one last thing out of you gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, if you go, it's a Mario Bills fan anymore. Apex, that's enough. Go down in the description. All these gentlemen's YouTube channels are there. Make sure you go and follow them. But before we go, we got to have a score prediction. I already gave mine. I think it's going to be 42-35. Buffalo going to 4-0 on the team or on the year. We're going to go Dan, Joe, then Clayton to clean up. And then we're going to get out of here because you know what? You guys you stayed too long tonight. You guys stayed too long. I just think so. All right. So let's go with your score predictions.
35-31 Bills.
Oh,
It is a shootout too.
I like it.
Yeah.
What do you got, Joe?
I'm going 38-13.
38-13.
Like I said,
Damn.
I think this defense
putting the
is
punishment.
I think this defense is very mad that we won a game, and all anyone's talking about is how poor this defense played, and that includes us and Bills Mafia. I think that's going to upset them just enough that they're going to come out with something to prove, and they're going to win 38-13.
Nice.
38-13. These are some Price is Right scores. How close mine and Joe's predictions are. Wow. I'm saying 37-17. The same sentiment I said on the show last night. I gotta stay consistent. I don't. This is a game that the Bills should handle handedly. That Raiders defense is far too young, in my opinion, to be able to handle anything that this Bills offense is going to throw at them. And I feel like the Bills defense, as Joe kind of alluded to, is going to have a bounce back performance after one of the biggest, a huge win over a huge team in the opposite conference. And all everybody wants to talk about is how bad that defense was. So yes, I feel like the leadership in place is going to get this defense on the right track, and it starts against John Gruden, Derek Carr, and those Raiders.
See how Clayton and Joe are fans. I'm getting tortured in the chat like I knew I would. So, ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, be sure to be on the lookout for me going through a table this week. That's one. The other thing is Joe is going to be calling the game play-by-play on Thursday at halftime. He's going to have his preview of the week. Clayton is going to have his Saturday night tailgate, as well as on the Cold Front Report. You're going to see Jeremy talk with Zoe tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yes, it's tomorrow, correct? Thursday? Is it Thursday night? Okay. Make sure you check them out at the Cold Front Report. They're on Facebook. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. They're on Insta. Just type in Cold Front Report. You'll find them. And, of course, Dan Mitchell, if you guys once you leave here, make sure you go over to his channel. He's just be just arguing furiously with a bunch of other fans. Make sure you check out everything that's coming up on his channel, especially his live reaction on game day. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't thank these guys enough for coming on the channel and giving us our roundtable. From Clayton, Joe, and Dan, I'm Mario. This is Hashtag Sports. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys.